Good morning. How's everybody doing today? So, a little bit of a negative open for a change here. Um, so, wondering maybe 1 day correction, maybe something a little bit more. Yesterday, when we talked about this wide range bar and would any downward move stay in the upper half? Well, it certainly did, but it poked above to a new high and came in, and some negative price action going on this morning in some stocks that Dan will cover. But since this range expansion here, I'm always a little skeptical of range expansion bars after runs like this. This one isn't your black and white textbook one that would suggest this is a high point, but because of this big correction bar and this little consolidation that went on here, remember, this is where our market internals told us be careful here on longs, and we got into this mess. And then the wild day, and then hey, back to the party. So sentiment has been pushing higher, and well, it's inverse, I should say lower, but on my chart it's pushing higher. As you could see here, and it's at a somewhat of a ridiculous level here, where option traders are just betting that this market's going to explode to the upside. The only saving part of this is that breadth is not at a bearish extreme. It had this corrective action. However, take note of this, and in that, yeah, the market's going up, but breadth is going down. And that's an underlying deterioration within the market. Now, as individual stock pickers, we might say, well, who cares? Right? We're picking the ones that are showing relative strength, and the ones that are weak, we don't bother with. So no matter to us. But it's something to pay attention to when you think about what's going on in the broader markets, um, because even the strong ones are susceptible to buyers just stepping away and saying, hey, let's just wait for the smoke to clear here and see how this might actually turn out. Is it a 1 day wonder correction, 2 days, or might it be something deeper? Since it's been rallying since October, it's up considerably. So it's something to think about here, and not become complacent, I guess, is the real point that I want to make here. Is that when you have the wrong way option traders, as we call them, betting that this market's ready for a explosive advance, that there's little to no risk, there has to be risk here, even when it's not obvious to us. And that's why we follow these internals. So, um, you know, enough said. We'll see where it goes. All right. So we just got a messy upper range going on here within what's becoming a wider range. And so this is where the move started, the bottom of the wide range bar. And yesterday things topped out a little bit here. And so it's messy price action. We'll see where it goes. Yesterday there was that intraday blip to the downside where it was like, okay, what's the story here? What's the news? Blah, blah, blah. And there wasn't anything that alarming, it seemed, but it jittered the market. So we'll see where that all goes tomorrow. NASDAQ. So not a big deal, but there's that wide range bar and things are kind of like creeping down here. So again, as we always do, we'll just see where today goes. No big deal as of yet. There's our line in the middle of the wide range bar to say, hey, as long as prices can chop around up here, and if they stay up here tomorrow and they take out today's high, well, today's just the beginning, of course, but thinking ahead here, well, then I'd be thinking, hey, this is going to shoot, and maybe those wrong way option traders, could they have it right for a change? I've seen it happen maybe once or twice in the last 3 decades, but anything can happen. So we'll see. So far, it's definitely a concern in these option traders, even intraday, just stepping up as if the market's going to explode higher. And while it has moved higher, it's not exploding. It's more of a grind. And for option traders, time is not on their side. So, you know, the longer it does nothing, well, the more they lose. All right. YM. There's only 1 second here. Okay. So YM, which has been the laggard, the Dow futures have been the laggard. You know, they didn't push up to the extent the others did. And they've just stayed within this trading range that we began to talk about at the beginning of the week. And they haven't been able to get out of it, where the others have marginally pushed above. And so the Dow is just kind of in the middle of the range, doing absolutely nothing. And that's where they're in the middle of yesterday's range this morning. So they just continue to be neutral. You know, don't tell us much of anything other than, hey, you know, it is up here and just hanging. And what do you do with something like this? Nothing. You wait to see if it breaks out to the upside or breaks to the downside. Russell, you know, we talked about the fact that it was close. Yesterday was close to the prior high and not the ideal kind of a pullback. This is a whippy rounding kind of a bottom, and it's not your ideal. What we like to see is prices come down maybe a little harder. And then as they reach some support, you know, they make a nice kind of a controlled bottom where the ranges begin to contract, where these are really wide like that and being so close near the prior high. The expectation is that sellers are going to come in there. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Once it made the run, it just got slammed back down again. Somebody won't leave me alone. A whole group of them that won't leave me alone. All right. So a little more negativity here this morning, but in reality, not such a big deal. So what we have, I guess, in reality, essence here is just a running in place market right now, just kind of waiting for something to happen. You know, sign those papers on that China deal. Is you're really going to put the ink on the paper? And then after that, you know, that isn't the end of the story. Then the new talks begin about, you know, the next phase of the deal. So this China schizo thing isn't going away. Going to be with us this year too. Oil stabilizing here as expected. No big deal. Not really getting off the block out of the blocks here, but stabilization where it was expected to happen. And bonds, they're perking up here a bit here. So down here on the support, that long corrective price action into the support, the retest, and it's kind of sloppy here. You know, if you didn't mind sitting with something, a pattern like this. So, you know, buying down near support with a starter position with a big old stop is a way of beginning to participate in what you believe can turn around. And one of our members in the room pointed out to me yesterday an example that I'll show to you. Right? Is Bitcoin here. And what I pointed out was this move here into support was an emotional reaction, meaning a spike down and a spike up, and it just nailed into this resistance area and then fell right back down again. Where this low is more orchestrated with thought, meaning the level that it's at, where it started to be accumulated, bottoming tail, right? A nice reversal with a wide range bar, a retest with a higher low and a 180 reversal. All of that is methodical. And that is a great bottoming type of a setup. And if you have this chart, capture it, print it out. It's a great example of an emotional reversal versus a methodical one. And then after it broke out, this little bullish price action that went on there. So, you know, it's a great example of something to put into your toolbox, so to speak, of patterns, understanding patterns. Because what we do here at Master Traders, we don't just show you hey, you know, this is a 3-bar pullback with a reversal bar. It's much more detailed of understanding how patterns are created. Even something that you may have never seen before, you can understand it by understanding bar by bar analysis and retracements and the concepts that we review. So we'll talk about some of that in today's MT Live. Where we talk about scanning, but scanning is about looking for patterns. And let's look at gold here. Kind of perked up, didn't reach the level I was hoping it might, but this is just the beginning of a turn after a nasty reversal. So if not, this isn't the kind of pattern I'm so anxious to get involved with just yet, because I love to get at the right place. And for me, the right place is down here. So what do you do with something like this? Well, if it was to perk up and then form what we call a W bottom, that will have created a new level of support at a higher level. And then I would be interested in that. But look, we don't always get what we want, but that is what I would be looking for gold and any pattern that looks like this. So anything I point out to you on a particular instrument is applicable to any other instrument, stock, bond, ETF, commodity. It's all the same stuff. And silver, nice reversal here beginning. And maybe, you know, one of the things I mentioned during the week, maybe gold and silver perking up could be a little bit of a bearish sign for the market. So something to keep in mind, as well as, you know, bonds moving up as they are, you know, not a great pattern there, but nevertheless, something you want to take into consideration. Transports finally beginning to break out and bring it up the rear here. Closing above 200. That's a good sign for the markets. You know, they backed off from this high here, but one of our discussions in the green room was that high should be insignificant after this type of a consolidation, you know, pull back and move back up again. That if that was to stop it, something obviously is wrong, not only in the transports, but probably in the broader markets if the transports were to drop after hitting that little blip after this consolidation. But we do have some of these banks getting a little hit here this morning. So Goldman was down a bit. Wells Fargo obviously got shellacked yesterday. And with some of the others look okay. And so that being said, we could go over the ETFs. Today is Wednesday, so let's take a look at SPX for spreads. And this is a little tougher one, maybe 3,300, above 3,300 strikes above there. And, you know, Paul in the room was selling them down here, 3,250, 3,260, which should work out. And we don't get this to update intraday in pre-market. Let me just see where this is at here. 3,260. That level should be okay. So maybe if the market does have some follow through to the downside, those premiums will perk up, and then we'll see if we get some kind of a reversal at a lower level. Right now, it looks like the upper call spread side, it looks like it's going to be safe for today. So that being said, all yours, Dan.
All right, thanks. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, on coaching yesterday, Greg will send out an email with the link on it, usually a day or two later. Hey, Greg, are those coachings available to people forever, or do you take them down after 1 or 2 or 3 months?
I send them from Zoom. They eventually go away. If I store them, I used to. You know, it's a matter of finding them. So I usually make them available. You know, they'll be around for a month or so.
All right. Okay, all our opens are fine. And actually, we have 2 gifts today. Shaq, we bought a bull call debit spread. And we actually chased it a little bit. You know, it was in this afternoon run. So now it's up 2.25 points or so. I sent out this adjustment earlier. Let me give it to you all. You know, so don't do it right at the market open. Well, keep an eye on it. Maybe we can try to squeeze a little bit more out, but let the spreads contract and then sell a third of your position. And you know what? I had an email from somebody this morning. They're saying, well, what do I do if I only have one contract, Dan? Because we all know that that's the minimum number of options that you can trade. And I said, that's a great question. I said, it's a judgment call. Do you want to put an overnight $2 gain in your pocket, or does the pattern suggest bigger profits where you'll give it some breathing room? And I would have to say right now with the bullish pre-market that it looks higher. So I would say, yeah, hold it. And if you're watching the market, this is bullish pre-market again. And you know, if it keeps moving up in the first 5-10 minutes, then this pre-market low is a very logical place to put your stop, to lock in a nice gain. Let's see the other gift. We have a bull put credit spread on Lulu from 2 days ago, Monday, on the nice gap breakout to all-time highs, and that's up. Anything up nicely when the market's gapping down is what? It's relative strength. So just glancing at the Dow 30, nothing's jumping up and being unusually, positive green. So no real there, but being up $2 and Shack looking good. So let's go right to gappers now. So with the overbought markets and getting some overbought stocks and some negative gaps, McGraw, it's going to, Steve, with the weak market, I think it's too late to get in on Shack. So I'm going to be looking for bear call credit spreads this morning. And we'll go through our checklist, which we went over in options coaching yesterday, which is compelling pattern, no earnings or pending news, tight spreads, and good juice for the days to expiration. So I'm going to be focused on Fridays, 3 days to expiration. Your quote screen was going to say 2 days because they don't count today, but if it's in the early morning, I consider that 3 days myself. And so earning stocks and the usual suspects of high volatility, like these FANGs, they're going to give us fantastic juice. I know it. So Tesla is on my list, gapping down here, 529. It's not gapping under the low, but it's extended. And this is, one of those bearish whatever Steve Nissan calls it. So if this can take out maybe a 15 or 30-minute low, that looks great. We'll sell an out of the money call spread for Friday. Beyond actually, it's another gift for us. Look at that, down $7 on a downgrade. We sold a bear call credit spread on that yesterday. So we have 3 gifts today in our open positions. Nice. IIPR, the marijuana sector has been perking. We have a put spread on IIPR. That looks great. I wish I gave that as a long also, but we are long MJ, the ETF. And this one doesn't have as much volume, but YOLO, look at that monthly. Wow, that is a textbook climactic buy setup with bottoming tails. So then you go down to a smaller time frame for your entries. So this one's lighter volume, only 89,000, but it's an ETF, so that doesn't concern me at all. This looks fantastic. If you've missed the marijuana, this is not too late. You got to give it a big stop. You know, the stop would be under Monday's low at least. That power bar with the sector moving should not be violated. So that looks fantastic. OG got 283, gapping way up here. Gapping too much. Yeah, pins has been on my list. Beautiful bar yesterday. And I mentioned to somebody, I said, you know, you mentioned it after it was already moving. And I said, man, I wish you gave me this earlier, because that would have been, you know, looking at this, a no-brainer 10-minute high. Why? Because it had a bullish gap, bullish pre-market. No, actually, I mean 15-minute high. I didn't see this little bar. Yeah, so this is the first bar, second bar, third bar, red bar with bottoming tail. You buy, if I saw that, absolute no-brainer, 15-minute long. And I go over these because even if we missed it like we did, I'm showing you what a no-brainer setup looks like. And that is Exhibit A. Fizzler, I don't know if this was earnings or just bad news, but gap in 55.60. So that's, okay, so that's under this green bar. So that is a bear call credit spread setup. All I said was setup. I still got to go through the rest of the checklist. Clovis 1080. You know what? This could over them. Is this a bio? Alex or McGraw, you guys know these stocks. I know there's a ton of resistance right here. Okay, then forget it. But I was going to say, if it can go sideways for a week or so at resistance, this could be a core long. I know the weekly is a big old mess, but you know, made a new low. Look at the volume, snap back. If it can stabilize here, target, you know, could easily be 30 bucks. So I'm going to keep an eye on this thing, even though it is a bio. Just, you know, I want to see how it develops. MNTA, wow. Do you think people knew anything yesterday into that bar? Now it's gapping up. Yeah, right. I think so. Nothing to do with it, so I'm deleting you. Alex gave us this, Papa Sierra yesterday. Love the wide range bar. A big old, this support level at 16 on the weekly. Look at this, has been tested three times. 1, 2, 3. And now it's breaking out. This would be a fantastic 1, 2, 3 setup, which means today we want an inside bar in the upper third, and then tomorrow we buy over the highs. EWG, this looks great. Daily, weekly, monthly. This is the Germany ETF. These are all in alignment. So once we get some, I'm not crazy about, you know, a bunch of new longs here with the market overbought. That sentiment that Greg showed is with a deteriorating breadth. That's a big old red flag. So unless something's on its own page, like Shack or an earnings stock or these marijuana stocks are perking, but I'll be watching that. IJH, Alex mentioned as being better than spiders, and I totally agree with that in terms of reward to risk, because this one's already, you know, run. Greg says, saying somebody on YouTube's asking about PLTA, and I know PLTA. I don't get it. INAV, yeah, looks great. I like these bottoming tails, breakdown failure, up, rested, and it looks fantastic. That's putting that on my list. PTLA. All right, that got shellacked. It's in a nasty downtrend, daily, weekly, monthly. This fell off a 30-story building, and it didn't run very far. So that's still relative weakness. This needs, excuse me, you know, Greg has the term, has to repair the damage. This thing's damaged. Unless you're just trading an intraday, I don't know if this is going up or down. But it's damaged. He's in the emergency room right here, or intensive care. So I need more information. I got no opinion on that. Market's about to open. I don't short $3. Well, this is a bullish gap up, so that's a shock. But I'm just to ignore the prices. I'm just saying that this would have been a beautiful day trade short if it opened flat. You had the breakout failure, you had the wide range bar. This is a bearish 1, 2, 3, 4 yesterday. You had a lower low. You had a lower low, lower high, closing at the low. Yeah, I know it's a Alex saying bio. All right, so you're gone, Flint. Look at Tesla on the bottom right. I don't do anything in the first 5 minutes, and actually market's holding here off the pre-market lows. Shack. The midpoint, yeah, it's not even open. The options aren't even open yet. CYH, no pattern. No pattern, you're gone. Cub, no pattern, you're gone. Charlie Bravo, no pattern, you're gone. Block has been a beast. I think we traded it. Yeah, that's still worth watching. All right, Beyond gap down. I'll be watching that for take